Rock and Roll event happened today, and this video is pretty much going to be my views on the event itself. And overall, just before I go into it, I thought it was good. It was a well done event, and throughout this video, I'm going to be sort of backing up why I feel this way. So hopefully, you guys can see why, what's happening, and comment below as to how you feel. Getting straight into it, Steve Jobs, he came back on stage, and I think he got a well-deserved response from the audience. He got a standing ovation, as you can see from your screen. It was good that he came back on, and he explained as to what happened, and he was thankful to the person who gave him his donor. A lot of media speculation over the past few weeks and months, what's happened to him, and for him to come at this event was pretty good. And it was also good for him to sort of come on and pass the buck on to Schiller and the other guy, and not doing the whole event by himself. He sort of done it in stages, so he wasn't the main focus of the hostings, if that's what you want to call it. I think he done a good job. He did look quite weak to me, if you compare it to the last event that he done, which was in October 2008, the MacBook event. He does look quite thin and quite weak, but obviously he's been in hospital, so what can you really expect from someone who's just had a liver transplant? But yeah, it was good to have him back, and I sort of agreed to have him back in the whole event. A lot of people were saying he was going to come back. Good for him. So some of the announcements, one of the first announcements he made was the OS 3.1, which is available from today, and I've got it on my phone, iPhone and iPod Touch users. It's free, you don't have to pay. A few bug fixes, for example, they've activated voice control from Bluetooth devices, so you don't have to have your iPhone up here. If you've got Bluetooth, you can do it from there. And a few bug fixes. You can get the full list on Mac Rumors or the Apple website itself. I'm not going to go through it because it's going to be a waste of time. iTunes 9 came out as well, and I'm not going to go into the full aspects of what was released in relation to iTunes 9. I'm going to sort of talk about the main thing that hit me, or is going to impact me in the next few days, or the next few months, shall I say. App Organizer was introduced, and I think I've got it open up here. There we go. So what it does is you can organise your apps within iTunes, so you don't have to go into your phone, and that was a nightmare for me. They've introduced that, so it's pretty easy. So let me see. I can drag a game and organise it how I want. I want to take this, put it into this page here. You've got 7 pages or 8 pages, so you can take this here and put it into one of the pages at the bottom. There you go. That there, and it's pretty much, and so you can have games on the one page, satellite navigation on the other page, news on one page, so it's all organised, easier for you to locate, easier for the end user. It's what Apple's all about, I think, and we wanted it, and they sort of gave it to us. Also, they had I don't know if you can see this or not, but they've sort of made the user interface better. I think it's much better now. I personally think they've done a few small tweaks to it, and I definitely do think it's much better now. Just going to see if it's not up yet. I thought the keynote for this might be up, but it's not up. So the user interface has been updated. They've also added social media integration, Twitter and Facebook, so you can tweet out or Facebook out what music you're listening to in iTunes, and it automatically go out to your social networking websites if you choose to do so. All good, because social media is all on the rise, and Apple have sort of adapted that in iTunes 9. Again, it's good. Home sharing is something you can share music, films and so on throughout your home network. Apple TV, I think, works on it as well. You can share stuff, using up to 5 computers, they were saying. Again, really good. Apparently you can even share apps on this, so interesting times. The next thing I'll go into is the actual iPod range. and I'll start from the Shuffle. Really good, price drop, new colours, limited edition, fantastic, couldn't agree with them more. The price was the main thing for the Shuffle. They'd had to bring it down because it was expensive for a Shuffle device. It used to be £59, £45 is sort of reasonable now. So I think they've come in par with the industry. New colours, and they've also, when they initially launched the Shuffle a few months ago, you can only use Apple earphones with them, but now they've changed that, you can use any earphones. So that's, again, they've listened to their customers and made those changes. The Classic I'm not going to go into because I've never owned one, and it'd be wrong for me to sort of give my advice on it. But apparently it's just a price drop. Could be wrong, and I'm probably going to get slated for this. iPod Touch, I know a lot of you are probably going to be disappointed because you wanted cameras. Here's my take on it. I think it was sort of right for them not putting a camera on it, because then there would be no difference between the iPod Touch and the iPhone 3GS. If you think about it, this new iPod Touch has got the similar speeds to a 3GS, so if they put a camera on it, what would be the main difference between a Touch and an iPhone? Because you can already make calls from a Touch using VoIP. So, you see where I'm coming from. It comes from a purely business sense that if they put a camera on it, people are going to be saying, well, why have I got an iPhone? I think later down in the year, or next year, they might bring it out when the iPhone gets upgraded to a better one. But for the time being, there needs to be some sort of differentiator between the Touch and the iPhone, hence the reason why they didn't bring it out. As I said, the Touch, the speeds increased, the prices have come down. Overall, I think it was a well done update. iPod Nano, similarly, price came down, and one more thing, to put a camera on it. Here's the thing, and I could be wrong on this, but I wasn't too sure if the one more thing was appropriate for this event, because I see one more things as something purely as wow, and I think the audience were on the edge of their seats when they seen the one more thing slide, and when Steve Jobs was saying it, they were like, something new is going to be launched. But as soon as they said camera, I think everyone was like, so I don't know if totally agree with the camera on the iPod Nano, since it's a consumer, a lot of people have got iPod Nanos. I think, did they say 40 million? So it's one of the best selling iPods. For them to have a video camera for the average Joe, absolutely fantastic, good business sense. It's done from a business perspective, adding the camera onto the Nano, but I don't think it was right for them to have it in that one more thing. I don't really think it was suited for this type of event, but it's what's done, it's been done. The next thing I want to talk about is taking digs, and Apple done that quite a few times throughout this event. The first time they done it was related to taking digs at Nintendo and Sony, and what Apple's argument was that the App Store's better, it's faster, it's cheaper, and so many people have got an iPod Touch and an iPhone, and we're pretty much going to kick your ass. That's what it came down to. Similarly, they done that to the Flip. When Apple were talking about the camera on the iPod Nano, they said, look at the Flip Nano, how thick it is and how thin the iPod Nano is. So that was something that they done again to sort of take a dig at Flip. So it'd be interesting to see how these companies respond, if at all they do. It'd be interesting. The features that the camera feature on the iPod Nano is also good in that you can upload videos directly to YouTube, which YouTube is in itself is proving to be one of the top social networking websites. Again, Apple are placing the focus on social media, and they've done it well, they've adapted to it well. And overall, that's my feeling on the event. I think too many of us rely on rumour websites. Myself, I admit that, Mac Rumours, Apple Insider, you're constantly on these websites and you build a certain expectation in your mind before the event happens, and then when it doesn't happen, you get angry or you get peed off. But for the average Joe, if you think about someone who doesn't know about these rumour websites, or that is not too focused on these devices, then it makes perfect business sense for Apple to do what they've done in today's event. And I know it's just stupid reading some of these comments on forums where people are just saying, Apple suck and so, but that's what happens when you read the rumours. Apple didn't say they were going to bring an iPod Touch with a camera. Nowhere did I see that. It was all purely speculation, and yeah, that's it for this video. Do post below about your comments if you agree with me, disagree with me, and yeah, it'd be interesting to have a debate going. Thanks. Be interesting to see how this Camtasia application actually closes. Might just have to